was never one for goodbyes. Why waste your breath? The ones that love you, the ones that hate you, you'll see them all again. The same lousy people, they're always there.
All right, and we are live. Let me unmute my guests so they can say hello. How are you guys going?
How you doing?
Almost forgot to put the headphones back on.
I like your hat, Joe. It's back.
Thank you, sir. It's back and better than ever.
And we have here our man of the hour, Mr. Richard Embree. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, perfect. Hey, how you guys doing?
Probably should have asked you that beforehand, but these are things you just think of on the fly. Yeah, we're good. Blue, how you going, buddy?
I'm going well. I'm wondering about Albino Thunderbuns there. Is he not shaving, or is that just a shadow of the koala?
Oh, no. I was going to shave. I was out of town for a camping trip with the family. And
Fur.
yeah, and then today I kept trying to get to it and kept getting intercepted by the kids and never got around to it.
You don't need to shave in a lockdown. Are you guys locked down at all?
Oh, yeah. I'm in California, and we've been locked down. We're one of a handful of states that were locked down first, locked down worst, and just when we thought we were going to get some relief, they clamped the what do they call it? Whatever the degrees of lockdown are. They were getting less severe.
Stage 4?
Yeah, I don't know if they're calling it by numbers, but it was getting better, and then it suddenly got worse again, and so we're back to...
Do you have the Gestapo out there beating people up for not wearing masks? Because that's what we've got.
Well, I guess it depends on if you define Gestapo as the state
the
police
finger men
or the self-appointed police.
the citizens.
Because we've got those in California. We've got the self-appointed Gestapo.
Mm.
Yeah. We've got
Actually,
them
speaking of states, I noticed, Richard, you have, or sorry, Mr. Embree, you have seem to have a certain accent. I was wondering, where did you grow up and get that from? What region?
Oh, I mean, I was born in California. I never left California, pretty much.
I think I only heard you speak for 2 sentences, so if I'm wrong, I'm wrong.
Yeah, no worries.
No, it sounds different to how you guys speak. I don't know if that's just some kind of local California sound.
Yeah, I'm Southern California. I don't know if that like 30 minutes from Los Angeles kind of area. So
I got no idea. You would know. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm hearing a minor influence of Hispanic in it. That's it.
Yeah. I'm Mexican American.
No, all right.
You know, I dad was from Nebraska, mom was from Placencia. You know,
so right next door to each other.
Yeah, but that's a pretty long car ride, but it's.
Well, we've got the other. Who's David Feed? Yeah, he's Mexican Swiss. So that's slightly further away, even still.
That's pretty interesting.
Skip Edwards is here. He says, "Hey, big announcement today." Yeah, there was a big announcement, and you know what it was?
He's pregnant.
It's not anything to do with people just getting fired across the board in comics. It's that this channel right here got monetized.
Nice.
Dang, I forgot.
Yeah. So take that. I'm
your future's so bright. I gotta wear shades.
Oh,
yeah, that ready. I have no idea how or where to see super chats if they ever come in. So you guys will have to let me know about that.
You have to have a YouTube window open, which will
Oh,
destroy
God.
your internet.
Oh my God. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, let's move on from that. Todd's Truth is here. He says, "Hail, hell, right back at you." Mo thinks I should name my stream "Waiting for Michael Bancroft." How artistic does that sound? That could add a bit of professionalism to it. He says, "Hal, Skip, and Mr. Struth." Hal, right back at you. Nova Blast is here. He says, "Hey, everyone." Mo says, "Punch that like button and time card if you were here on time." Hey, everyone's here on time as long as they come in. Boogiebot Comics here. He says, hey howdy, the double time. Johnny Rando's here. I saw Johnny Rando for the first time on Liam's stream, the first time in a while.
Hey,
So great to see you around. We got the albinos in the chat there. Joe Cox. There has to be a way to get better volume on video previews. I don't know. Was that low?
Yeah, it seems
Was that
kind of
low
low
for you guys?
Yeah.
I think it's something to do with StreamYards, the way it plays. They were doing things with the pixelation as well the other day. I don't know what their deal is. Shane says, "G'day, gentlemen and chat."
Good day,
Baron. G'day. Baron Jack Stafford. I saw you in Ethan's stream putting up my link, man. Thanks so much for that. That was awesome. He says, "Ahoy, mateys."
Ahoy.
Ahoy, Captain Baron Jack.
Oh, and I'm getting some congratulations. Thank you very much. Oh, I can see super chats. Oh, look at that. That's awesome. I don't have to go onto YouTube.
So you
Some
can
guy
see them,
named.
Yeah, you can see them in StreamYard, but they don't stay for very long. So you got to catch them as they come in.
I don't think there'll be much of a problem.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Thank you, Mr. Blue Samurai Zero. Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing on? I'm cheap here. $2 is more than appreciated, my friend. Thank you very much for being my first. And you know what that means? Even though it is a Tuesday afternoon for me, that means I do have to crack open my $200 bottle of whiskey that I have there, which is going to be interesting to taste, and then go back to work afterwards.
Mm-hmm. Which is what, across the yard and over by the fireplace or something?
No, it's right here with me.
No. I mean work.
Oh, work. No, it's right here with me too. Skip Edwards just sent $1.99. Was there anything with that, or that was just a thank you? Thank you so much, Skip.
I think under $2 exactly. They don't say anything.
Oh, okay. Well, look, I feel really special now. Look at these. I have these special blue chats here. He says, Antoine says, "Congratulations, you're in the big time now." I'm like, I definitely feel it. Yeah, Blue, you did pop my cherry. All right, so before we get started, because I don't want to do this much later, is I better open this bad boy up. Are you a whiskey drinker there, Richard?
Occasionally. I'm more of a craft beer guy.
Yeah, I love craft beer. We've got a big craft beer scene here in Melbourne. We're full of hipsters and everything. So
nice.
We have, I don't know if you have like craft beer bars and pubs and stuff like that.
Yeah, especially like in Southern California, you go to like the San Diego area. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff down there, and of course LA and Orange County. They have a lot of little hipster spots. But I remember going to SeaWorld. I took the kids to SeaWorld, and they had like a craft beer weekend, and I was like, "This is weird,"
yeah.
But it was amazing at the same time. So
I'm from San Diego, and it's often called the craft beer capital of the world. And at SeaWorld, they do that. At the San Diego Zoo, they do that. They have craft beer. I forget what they call it, but it's basically like a craft beer festival. And then outside of that, we have usually, not in pandemic years, but usually we have a pretty renowned craft beer festival going on. So it's
there's like a convention, right? Like it's like almost like a Comic-Con with craft beer, and you get like a cup upon entry, and you just go and drink and enjoy the hangover. do it again.
Exactly. And I used to be a home brewer, and there's a brewery in San Diego where every year they host a homebrewers competition, and it's the same sort of deal where you can go in and you can sample anything you can imagine that could be brewed, and some that you never would imagine. It's there. It's a good time.
Nice.
All right, gentlemen, this is to everybody in the chat and to the fellas here on the panel and the ones that aren't Bandito and Poland. Thank you so much to making it all happen.
Hail.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Oh yeah, cheers, not hail. Cheers.
Oh wow, yeah, that's a good whiskey. That is very smooth.
Nice.
I'm gonna have to read about what's all in that because it's got some very interesting flavors. That's my very first ever sip of a $200 bottle of whiskey. Oh, that's gonna be that's gonna come out for special occasions, I think.
All right, I'm gonna go get some whiskey. Water's just not for me.
It's hard to sit there when someone's drinking and you're not drinking, isn't it?
Yeah, I'll be back in 5.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks, guys. Thanks. All right, so Richard, I was talking to you beforehand, giving you a bit of the lowdown on what we like to do here. So I will just share my screen again, which is your campaign. And then I'm going to ask you... No, that's not your campaign. That's the stupid YouTube thing. It was tricking me.
Close enough.
Like you've had only one sip.
I know. Hey, he knows. Richard knows. I warned him beforehand that there would be unprofessionalism.
I expected it, and I was looking forward to it, actually.
Yeah, exactly. What the... How can I... Get me out of this. There it is.
There we are.
I'm going to refresh that so that we can actually see some graphics here. All right, there we go. So, The Last Goodbye, that's your book.
Yes, sir.
And, hang on, where is everyone else? There we go. Getting there.
One. Seriously, one.
Yeah. I could just down this thing like, what's his face did, Scotsman.
No, you have a family. Last
Goodbye. So how'd you get into making a comic book?
So prior to comics, I would do a lot of like hip hop producing, kind of like on the hip hop scene, and then that kind of got old, and I wanted to do, but I still had this like creative itch that all creators have, and it just needs to be scratched, and I just started looking up like how do I make comics, and I found out, got to hire a penciler, inker, person that does lettering, colors are optional. And so I went out, and back then it was either digital webbing or I think Pencil Jack. This was like in 2013. So I contacted an artist. I wrote a script. I really didn't know what I was doing too much, but I was thinking like, okay, I get 32 pages. That's good. And I write a script for 32 pages. Came out 33. And get an artist and we get this thing rolling. And so we did that. In the 15 pages in, the artist, Brian Brindley, his wife got sick. And so we kind of had to put a pause to it. And then when he came back, I didn't have the finances to continue the project. So ended up happening is later down the line, we finally connected again, finished the book, and I released it with just the inks. And I lettered it myself. And I learned a lot from that experience because it was good work, but it wasn't my best work. And what ended up happening is I did a couple more comics, and then I had kids. and so I had to take a break from comics. And
for those of you out there who aren't aware, kids can tend to take up a little bit of time of your life.
Yeah. Practicing having the kids is great. But actually having
making
the kids.
Yes.
It was a little different. I couldn't really put all the money into my passion projects like I like to. So when I come back, the kids are older now. I come back and the game has totally changed. You know, there's Comicsgate, there's and then COVID hit, so there's like no conventions or anything. So I'm like, damn, what can I bring out? And I was like, well, you know what? I did like The Last Goodbye. I like the story because the story has a lot of heart to it. And so I ended up getting it colored, and now I'm going to get it lettered by a real professional, Eric Weathers. So I don't have any of that.
Surprise.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to, I'm just like, I'm going to pay Eric for peace of mind and just make this, make this, easier on myself. So, yeah. And basically the story is about Edgar, who becomes a bad guy, not by choice, but kind of forced into it. And he's not happy about being the bad guy. And he wants out. He wants to say goodbye to the lifestyle. So this is the last goodbye to this lifestyle of a criminal, of a guy that if you owe money to, he's going to go get that money. If you need something transported, he's the one that's going to bring it. So it's you learn how he became that way, and then you learn his exit out of it. So that's basically.
Is the artwork for this traditional or digital?
It is traditional, but the coloring is digital.
And so when you say you lettered it digitally, or you made little
Yeah,
cutouts?
it was Adobe Illustrator.
Okay.
I looked on because back then I was trying to do as much as I could myself to save cost, and I found a couple of websites and YouTube videos. They kind of showed me the way to letter, which was decent, but it's not professional. I like this time, especially with providing entertainment to the Comicsgate community. I want to make sure everything's up to par. I want to make sure the colors are great. I want to make sure the lettering's great, the printing's great. Like, you have to bring your A game now, because that's what's selling. It is, first of all, good stories, which I feel this is, and then quality, just quality around, quality artwork, quality print, quality packaging.
That leads me into a question: How does a straight shooting father who's a Mexican American get mixed up with a bunch of white supremacists like Comicsgate? How did that come about?
Well, they had to jump me in. We had to meet up in San Diego or Arizona, and they jumped me in. No, when I got back on, because I was like, okay, now I need to promote this comic book. So I hopped on to Twitter, and I kind of heard about the Comicsgate, but I didn't really know too much about it. And so I'm just kind of in the background and just seeing how people talk and how people interact. And everyone was really nice to me. Everyone was really encouraging. And I'm like, wait a minute, these guys are supposed to be the bad guys. Like, what's going on here? Like, I thought they're supposed to be mean and racist, and then you find out there's multiple races, there's multiple sexual preferences, there's multiple religions, and basically all people want, common goal is, the respect of to be respected as a customer and to have escapism and entertainment without being preached to. And I'm like, well, damn, that's right up my alley, because I just want to deliver stories that I enjoyed writing, and I hope you guys enjoy reading. So it was a perfect match for me.
I'm seeing many koalas on my screen right now. There's a hat, and then there's also a logo here with the little koala. What's the story behind that?
So I had a friend, and she was like, Richard, you're like a koala. I'm like, why you say that? She's like, you look like nice, timid, and kind of round and cute, but you're an angry little bastard.
Oh, he's a drop there. Okay.
Yeah, so I was just like, you know what? That works. I like that.
Don't go around to Richard's house at night, because you might hear him mating. I don't know if you guys have ever heard a koala mating. I've had the either pleasure or displeasure of having two. I hope it was two. I didn't go out there and check, but having two mate directly against my tent. And we were woken up at about 2 a.m. in the morning by this ungodly grunting and screeching and growling, and oh my goodness. And the whole tent was shaking.
Is it worse than cats?
Well, the cats get really high pitched. The koala's growl is very low. It's like a crocodile or a gator. It's like that. And they were going at it hard.
That sounds like
they do have big claws, but I think they're just for climbing trees.
Yeah. So that's why I chose the koala, and I actually wanted to be on a street lamp or a street light, the one that curves. And when I handed it to Paul, my graphic designer, he just put it on a lamppost, and I just, oh shit, it works. It looks great. So it looks like
it fits with your name, Forest.
Yeah, and that's the thing too with Forest. I was like, okay, I want to think of something kind of simple that's easy to remember, and I was like, okay, books, trees, wood, forest. Okay, cool. It works. Put a koala on it.
Although we don't usually call the forest a forest here, we call it a bush, but it is also a forest. We know it's a forest, so
yeah,
you still get that. That's all right.
A bush has a different meaning in California.
When was all that? You said you started sort of the process before you had kids back in 2013. When did you actually sort of come into Comicsgate and think, okay, this is something I want to finish off now?
I want to say like 3 months ago.
Oh, really? That's soon.
Yeah. So
I had no idea.
Yeah, because I did comics before, and I would go to WonderCon, doing small runs like 50 issues, sell out, or get close to selling out. Then do Long Beach Comic Con. Then do I think it was LA. It was the one in LA before Stan Lee, that whole debacle thing. But and it was fun. It was like, okay, I create something, I bring it out, and for a creator, for me, it was like, it's crazy because this is something that I made from nothing. It's it was a thought that turned into a script, that turned into an actual book, that turned into actual money. So that was like, wow, this is great, this is awesome, this is what I want to do. And it just sucks like that last day of Comic-Con or whatever con you're at. It's like Sundays, they always close early, and then you're like, oh, back to reality, back to work. So I was like, man, if I can get this going and make it.
I've never done a con. I think we do have them here, but it's usually just the really big ones, where they have like celebrities coming and everything. I don't know if we have ones where it's kind of just nobody's, who've never published before can just go and put a book on a table somewhere. If we do, I haven't heard about it, but I'm feeling it. It is pretty crazy now. I feel like it's sort of I live in that life almost every day a little bit. You reach in through the YouTube, and I'm living my comic book life right now, and then later after lunch I'll be going back to my real job. Although it's only on the other side of the room now. So things are a little bit different now.
Well, everything changed. So like where you would go to a Comic-Con for a panel to get advice and to see professionals talk about comics, that's YouTube now. Where you would mingle with your fellow creators and see what they're bringing out or see what they got going on. That's the Comic-Con right there, and that's Artist Alley right there. And even the comic book shop now too. That the comic book shop now is now Indiegogo. Like everything changed. I don't like some people don't realize that it's changed, but it's changed.
Oh, we're going to get into that too in a bit because obviously a lot of things are changing really rapidly. But it's funny that we've been doing this now for years successfully. As a group. And just finally now, you see some big, prominent mainstream people saying, "Oh yeah, we should, hold streams online and we can talk directly to the customers. Wouldn't that be a novel idea?" Yeah, and they all clap at each other like seals. We're like, you should have been doing that, but you're kind of a bit late on the boat, and And as well as people like Gal Simone and Donny Cates have found out, and Brie Larson now, it's not as easy as just, I've got a name, I'm going to go on YouTube and everything's going to be fine. They don't realize that this is sort of, I mean, want a better word, our space here in terms of the way the culture operates. And it's not like Twitter. They're not going to be, even though they'll be promoted by YouTube, that doesn't mean the audience is going to turn up and be friendly and open
like
to what they're going to do.
Freedom of speech. I have the freedom to speak, unless you mute me, of course. And then, but that doesn't mean people are obliged to listen.
Exactly. That you could throw that stuff right back in their face. All the stuff that they say, like, oh, it's not, freedom of speech is not freedom from consequences. Yeah, well, you've been talking smack for years behind your, high walls. Well, now that you realize the high walls separate you from the customers that can no longer reach you, and you've got to come down with the people, you realize that, your speech does have consequences after all. Baron says Melbourne's quarantine is so strict. Yeah, it is pretty strict, and it's not working either. We the numbers, the death numbers. I mean, obviously, every death is bad, but there's still people in their 80s and 90s. But they're not going down in line with the harsh lockdown. So it's going to be interesting to see if they're ever going to let us out anymore, or I'm just going to be stuck in this cottage for the rest of my life, talking to you guys from here.
Well, you have your Star Trek box.
I do, but I don't have a DVD player anymore, so it's just ornamental now. And I've watched every episode anyway, so it's all on Netflix. Johnny Rando says, good thing Donny Cates established a rapport with the online indie audience. Oh, wait, never mind. Yeah, exactly. These guys chopping like flies, and it's a Schadenfreude abounds. Anyway, let's get back to last goodbye and have a look at your perks here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I ran out of. Well, I shouldn't say unfortunately, because the early bird customers got a really good deal. So what I did was a shirt, both covers, stickers, and I added in a 5-page digital comic called Whisper for every backer. So the original early bird is everything you'll see right here, but for $30. So I just tacked on another
nice.
$10.
Yeah, absolutely. So, early birds get the cheap worm.
Yeah, because
are those stickers? They're those little die cut stickers. Yeah, everyone's doing them. They're really cool. What's that company that does that?
I'm going to Sticker Mule.
Sticker Mule, that's the one. Yeah, I've got to look into that. I think they're really
seem
cool.
The most professional, most reputable. So
they've gotten a lot of referrals through the indie comic scene because they deliver a good product for a good price, and their customer service seems to be pretty good too.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing. So, in their like good customer service and a good price that's a no-brainer for me. I can.
Just going back, Antoine says he thinks the SJWs will find their niche on YouTube. There'll be live streams with active moderated policing. They'll be fine. Well, I hope so, because it will be very entertaining to watch. Everyone walking on eggshells, just clapping at everything, saying everything's fine as the whole thing burns down. Skip Edwards wants to know if anyone heard who got laid off at DC. Yeah, I think there are some names. Thunderbuns, have you seen that? There are some names out there.
I was just replying to Skip. Bleeding Cool and Bleeding Fool are both reporting on a handful of names, but I have yet to see official confirmations. And some of what Bleeding Cool has been said seems like it's... I wouldn't buy into exactly what Rich is saying. Yes, I know that they're having layoffs or have had layoffs and almost certainly will continue to have layoffs, but some of the names on there are questionable. And he even admits in the article that he's getting contradictory information. And some people are from DC are disputing the names he's putting out there. But
All
I mean,
right, okay.
if you want some names, Bob Harris, editor-in-chief, Bobby Chase, who is has been in charge of some of the digital comics efforts. Jim Lee, as far as Bleeding Cool's reporting, is being moved off to a different role, different responsibilities.
But he was only supposed to be in there interim anyway, wasn't he?
That was the idea, yeah. So there's other names beyond that. Andy Curry, for example, who was most directly responsible for the torture and death of Vertigo.
Yep.
He's the one who brought in people like Zoe Quinn, Eric Esquivel, Richard Pace, so on and so forth.
Yeah, like Jack says here, he hates to hear people getting fired, but they have been so corrosive to pop culture. Well, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
in a perfect world, yes, it's not a good thing to have people fired, but what if there are people out there that are genuinely parasitically eating an industry from the inside out and leaving just nothing but a scaly husk left for everyone to pick over? I mean,
yeah, and unfortunately, in the chat, BoogieBot Comics and Skip and a couple others are talking about the guy. His name escapes me at the moment, but he was in charge of Black Label Comics, and supposedly he's been laid off as well. And Black Label, so we thought, had been doing really well for DC, but my decade in corporate business was filled with seeing layoffs from the front row. I was in 2 of them myself over that decade. And one of the things that I learned is that a lot of times, even if your role at the company has been a net positive, in other words, you're bringing them in more money than what you're costing them to employ you, if there are mergers or acquisitions involved, such as we've seen now with AT&T, what often happens is they'll evaluate what they see as redundancies within the company. And if they have somebody else that can do your job that they think either will cost them less to employ or that person can bring in more money into the company, then you can get laid off even though you were really good at your job. So with someone like the guy that was running Black Label, he seemed to have established a successful imprint at DC, but from the AT&T and Warner Media perspective, he may not have fit with their overall transition plans. So
their idea for what success might be might not really match up with what the current comic book industry calls success.
Yes, exactly.
Which is probably, what they would have called an abject failure a mere 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, we are going to touch back on this subject. Richard's happy to talk about it. I just wanted to keep going through his perks here.
I'm fascinated with that whole story as well, because it's going to humble a lot of people.
And it's going to affect like everyone sort of circling around comics, better or worse.
And then a lot of people are going to look at comics and look at, they're probably going to look at the numbers and look at the customers and like, well, why do we not have customers? What is going on? And that's probably going to lead to other things. And who knows? They might discover the truth if they're willing to look at it, or they might just keep BSing and business as usual. So it's interesting. I want to see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm. So just going back to your perks, you've got a variant cover.
Yeah, variant cover is done by Mark Savona. Mark Savona is an artist. He's known for Scholastic Canada. He does. I think the book is called Haunted Canada, and me and him worked on a project before, and so I hit him up. I was like, "Hey, Mark, you want to do a variant for me for this campaign?" And like within I want to say like 2 hours, he just shot me this the inks for this. So I was like, oh, great. So I thought it looked pretty cool. So
Yeah,
Hey, Richard,
absolutely.
you're artist for the interiors. I know I've seen his name around. What other work has he done?
he did some work with Art Belfield. I want to say Black Villains Wanted or something.
I
Something
think
like
that
that.
sounds. Yeah, that does sound familiar.
Yeah. So that's
What's the
that's
okay, so you got a variant with t-shirt combos. What's the personalized cover?
so personalized cover is you tell me what you want on the cover. I tell Brian, and then I get it colored by the colorist, and then I print a one of a kind comic for you.
Oh,
Oh my
wow.
god. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So whatever you want, it's you know, if you want to be the main character Edgar in this, you can, and impose your face on it, or you want something else, or you want whatever you want. I have Brian draw it up, gets colored, and then it's like a one of a kind comic book for you. And also too, you get everything else included, so you get both covers, the T-shirt, the stickers, and the digital comic as well.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the sort of thing that you can offer over here, isn't it? At on Indiegogo and with independent comics that you're just not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah. So as long as it's, Brian's a Christian family man, so I can't do anything too graphic, but but we
I
can
wondered
keep
where
it
you were
rated
going.
R, but like some rated X weird stuff, I don't think he would, or he might, I don't know. I'll talk to him, but
Well,
you
you got to picked up a couple of backers since we started, so
oh, awesome,
congratulations
thank
there.
you, that's great.
Yeah, fantastic. I love to see that. Jack thinks it's a great idea as well. Yeah, it's
Yeah, because we have the, because when I was thinking about the tiers and all that, and the perks, and I was like, how can I get my artist and my colorist a little bit more money, and that was a thing. It's like, hey man, let's put this tier out there and see if people would.
Yeah, so this is
enjoy it.
what's so cool about what we're doing here is
Mhm.
we can do these, these sorts of things that people haven't even thought of yet. I haven't seen that yet. How many shows have I done? Over 80, I think now. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen other people doing things. Every now and then someone will come along and they're doing something that no one else has done yet. And, maybe it's going to work and maybe it's not. But, I'm sure some of these ideas are going to stick. And the important thing is they're all things that that these guys who are, in businesses now that are getting shut down or, everyone's getting fired. These are the sort of things that they just can't offer.
Yeah.
Go on.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just going to say, Ethan was talking about this earlier. He was saying, our size where we are right now is like it's a good size to be in terms of the kind of the Comicsgate fan group, the people who are buying, because it's giving the creators time to sort of breathe and figure out all the nuts and bolts of what's going to work and what isn't. And as a lot of these companies go under, like Joe mentioned earlier, Vertigo, it looks like Dynamite shot themselves in the foot well and truly. A bunch of others, IDW, who knows how long they have left. Valiant as well, they've shut down their office and they're all working from home now, which isn't a good sign for them. People still want to read and buy comics. That's never going to go away. Even if the person has the last comic ever sold, all it takes is one kid to, or one grumpy old pro to pick up a pen and start it all up again.
And even Marvel, who still holds the #1 spot in the industry by quite a bit, they're having top name talent going to Twitter and saying, I've been calling Marvel, but nobody's returning my calls. Hello, is anyone out there? So it's not, it's not looking good anywhere except in the indies, and it's looking the best, in my opinion, in CG land.
Yeah. What was said earlier as well. All they're talking about is Comicsgate. All we're talking about is Comicsgate. All anyone is talking about is Comicsgate. And the only time that anyone is talking about what they're doing is when it's something ridiculous, like the Wonder Woman stunt, which is what it was. It was a stunt. It was a big thumb in the nose at all the quote unquote wrong people. This sort of spite art against and spite against the fans.
Now I want to clarify something about that stunt, and I will agree with you. It was a stunt. The artist and what she was told are not the same as what came out later to us, and I don't think I looked deep enough into it on DC's side. The artist was asked to draw something inspired by Wonder Woman, and she draws aliens, so she drew an alien wearing some kind of Wonder Woman clothing, not a portrait of Wonder Woman. Then they flipped around to make that into a cover, which presents it as if it's a portrait of Wonder Woman. So what's DC doing there?
Yeah, that's exactly right. I said from the moment I saw it that this person knows how to draw, and they know how to, craft a panel and all that sort of stuff. It's obviously it's not my style. It's right. A lot of other people's style. That's fine, but they know what they're doing. I don't think it was a failure of the artist in terms of what they were trying to do, or like you said, if they were asked to do something else. It's the failure of DC to put it up there and present it to the fans that they know are going to look at it and say, what the hell is this? Who is this?
And it's not as though a cover has never been canceled before. In corporate comics, there's been a long-standing practice that goes back many decades, where if someone turns in a cover and the editor does not approve, they don't run with the cover. They go with an alternate. And so DC did not have to put that out there. They chose to.
Yeah. And in a way misrepresenting what the artist intended to make.
Right.
I mean, even by omission, misrepresenting it, meaning they didn't explain it. But actually, I was looking up mating calls for koalas earlier, and I kind of missed something that Richard had said. So I just want to jump in with another question. So you can, I don't know, forgive me if
Hang on, did you find any?
Asked. Yeah, they're frightening. Anyway, okay, have you ever heard Harleys going by in a distance, like 2 blocks away? You can hear the Harleys?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the mating call of a koala.
Wow.
So,
I'm good.
So Richard, it's always the worst question that a writer has to answer with, how do you get your ideas? And I've had my own ideas which change almost immediately and change more over time. So I was wondering, what was the germination of your idea for this story? I mean, you were sitting on the toilet one day and then suddenly you thought of, like, how did this start?
I'm more of a shower guy. Okay. I get inspired in the shower and dialogue just comes out as I'm washing my hair or lack thereof. But
wherever you don't have access to a notepad or a computer or anything, that's where the ideas happen.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know what? I thought of the ending, and I thought of where I wanted to start and where I wanted to end. I had that first, and like my writing process is that's how it goes. It's like a skeleton, I have a beginning, I have an ending, and then I have little plot points in between. That's like the bones, and then I fill it in, and then I send it to an editor, and the editor makes sure that I'm trying to everything I'm trying to communicate, it comes off correctly to the reader. Because when you're creating and writing, at least for me, there's so much stuff in my head that I have all the background story to it, but sometimes I don't get that to paper, and so the editor's like, "Hey, this is kind of confusing. You might want to explain this and this and that." Okay. And then that's pretty much like my writing process, and then it goes to the artist. And when Brian's was really good on everything I wanted on the page. He delivered. I worked with artists where it's like, oh, it's kind of a compromise, or that's not exactly what I wanted, but it's close enough. So I try to let the artists have their space. But with Brian, it was like everything was there, perfect. Everything was on the panel, like really an awesome dude, really a professional, and just a real kind, like awesome person to work with. So
Cool.
And then once you do that, you go back to the missus, and this is what it sounds like. Let's have a listen.
Michael, it's cold.
Oh, bloody ads!
So you can't tell us what the germination was because that would give away the ending too much.
yeah, I kind of have to be real kind of selective of what I say because yeah, I don't want to give away too much.
No problem.
Because it's a like I said, it's a good story with heart, and that was even actually hard promoting it because it's not like I can just give a synopsis and there it is. Like the synopsis is just basically bad dude has to make a decision and wants redemption.
Well, this is kind of like that film Pretty Woman, except with the genders flipped. So he's the gangster with the heart of gold instead of the hooker. Yeah,
yeah.
totally.
I just left off that the scene with the floss.
Yes.
All right, Joe. This is what it sounds like on your head. Imagine this. Can you hear that?
You're right. It does sound like a croc.
Imagine hearing this at 2 a.m. in the morning right next to your tent.
Oh, that is wonderful.
You feel like the devil is about to come take.
Now,
Look at
what Sheila would not be hot and bothered after hearing that in her ear?
I like how you know all the Aussie slang.
Oh yeah. Well, when I go for my honorary Australian citizenship, I want to know what I need to know.
Mopik says, "Gender flipped Pretty Woman sounds like my courtship with Bandito's mum." Yikes!
How romantic.
I was just looking as well. Where is it? So yeah, that's what Bleeding Cool is reporting. Jim Lee, Bob Harris, Marie Javins in new DC Comics implosion rumors. Yeah, this is some serious language they're using.
Yeah, unfortunately, Rich Johnston is the one who wrote it, so
Okay.
it's very misleading about what he actually knows and what he's speculating about. I suggested to the pontificators that when we do our show, which this week it looks like it's going to be on Wednesday, that we go over this because there's two things that you have to analyze to really get to the core of the issue. One is the double speak that Rich Johnston uses with his clickbait title and the way he writes this. Although it's never a good thing to have to discuss layoffs when, these are in many cases people who have been there for a long time. They've got a lot of relationships, professional and personal, that they've built up over the years. And so these are real people who are affected here and their families. So, and I, being laid off a couple of times myself, I can empathize with them. But there also is some important analysis that can be done with regards to the comic book industry and why these layoffs are happening. Why are they happening at the time that they are, and so on and so forth. But then when you look at the actual statement released by the head of Warner, there's a lot of corporate doublespeak in there. And so I'm going to be dissecting that with my my experience translating corporate doublespeak, which I did. I think I mentioned earlier. I did it for about a decade. So
you seem to be a man in the know, Joe. What do you think this what do you think this means for DC as a company?
Portends.
Yeah,
Portends. Good. Oh, that's the word we had from earlier, didn't we?
Yeah. So there's a lot there, but to try to be as concise as possible, I think what DC is finding out is that AT&T has some very large business goals that involve paying off almost incomprehensible amounts of debt. They are literally in debt to the tune of hundreds of billions with a B of dollars.
AT&T is.
AT&T is correct.
How do you do that? How do you get in debt without being a country?
Yeah, that's a good question. But that would have to be a conversation for another time. That's quite a story in and of itself. But so what happens with that is they have to adhere to a certain payment schedule. And when you're in debt hundreds of billions of dollars, you often are making payments on the order of hundreds of millions of dollars at a time.
Yep.
And so what the Warner Media companies and their subsidiaries are finding out, and DC is finding out, is that in order for AT&T to make those kinds of payments, they have to realign all of their subsidiary companies with that goal in mind. DC was never run in a way that was set up to contribute up the pipeline mass sums of money to try to make these hundreds of millions of dollars in debt payments. So I think what's happening is that AT&T, and they were very clear about this, AT&T and Warner in the last, year and a half, they've released press statements which were designed to speak to their shareholders more than anyone else and reassure them that they were going to be looking at all of the companies and the subsidiaries underneath the AT&T umbrella, and they were going to realign things in whichever ways were necessary in order to become not only successful in their subsidiary businesses, but in their core business, which at the end of the day is a massive telecommunications company. So what I see happening is DC is simply going to be broken down in a sense and then put back together in a way that AT&T thinks will be most effective and efficient in supporting their overall business strategy, which at this point, let's be honest, has to be paying off hundreds of billions of dollars in debt.
Which I don't think they're going to be able to manage just with some Batman books, unfortunately.
No.
Especially if Batman is a whiny little bitch. In all of them. What do you think about all this, Richard?
I think it's back to the Wonder Woman cover. I think that would have been a great Instagram post, but not a cover. If they just had it as an Instagram post, it would have got the same. Actually, it would have made the artist look good, and it wouldn't have got as much controversy. Especially getting all this controversy right before you lay off all these people. That must pretty much suck.
Yeah, controversy isn't bad. It gets eyeballs on it, but it's their it's like the only controversy that they like is the kind that is giving a big FU to all the readers and fans who stuck with them for decades.
Yeah, it would be like this. How Ethan always talks about the hot dog, thing. Yeah. It's like you're ordering a hot dog. You're like, yeah, I want mustard on my hot dog. And they put mayonnaise on it. And you're like, what are you doing? I don't want mayonnaise on my hot dog. I just want it with mustard. I always get my hot dog with mustard. They're like, shut up, you bigot. Take your mayonnaise and get out of here. And that's what it is. It's like, why would you do that to your customer? That doesn't make any sense. And especially when they can create a whole different SJW universe, leave the original stuff as is, that does fan service for your core audience, and then create a whole new one, and have it do whatever you want. Let Gail Simone run the shit and just let her do whatever in that universe. But I don't know why they wouldn't do that. That would make the most sense. That would make
because I've actually asked SJWs this stuff, and when it gets ideological for them, the logic goes out the window. And you just say well, why don't you just create your own characters or do your own thing? And they say, well, they're not as popular. That wouldn't get our message out to
translation. I'm lazy. I don't want to put in the work to brand my character.
the agenda is revealed. It's not about putting out the last goodbye because I want to write a story, and it's about having an agenda to push, and I need someone else's popularity to leech off of.
Exactly.
So,
yeah. They said that openly, and it's like, oh,
Mhm.
okay. You think that's right? And they're like, well, that's just the way it is. These characters are the most popular, therefore they're the best choices for using them as a vehicle to.
But even as a
I
marketing,
liked Mo comments. It's like they're only going to produce floppies for the Trinity: Superman, Batman, and Wonder Boy. What was that pose he had?
Oh, it
I'm
was
flying.
It was awful.
but like even at like a marketing standpoint, you're like, okay, we want to spread this message to other people or people that would receive it, and like like that audience does not buy comic books that much. Of course there's always everyone buys comic books, right? But that small of a percentage of people that you would reach that would actually appreciate that message, it does more damage than it does good to reach those people. And it's just, I don't know. But you know what? Like you say, Michael, it's they're going with emotion. They're going with agenda. They're going with, I guess, in a way, like wanting to feel important and powerful. Now that they got this, let's say a Captain America with all this prestige and history and fan base behind it, and they can do whatever they want. Like they think it's their doing, but it's really the character.
Yeah.
That's giving them the interviews. That's giving them the headlines and stuff like that. They giving them the attention.
Someone said in the chat there, have you seen Sheila Allen's version of Wonder Woman on Twitter? I haven't. I just tried to look for it, but yeah, she posts a lot on Twitter, so I can't go through all of her her tweets.
Yeah, I'm looking for it. If I get it, I'll let you know.
Just before we leave as well, and before we go back to a last goodbye, I wanted to bring up this campaign here, which is only 4 hours left and is only 85% funded. So we've had Matt on before. He's a stand-up guy, and it's a really cool looking book. A very unique looking book.
Well, I saw an update earlier today that said this is just the first 30 days he'll extend, but Nova Blast in the chat here has informed us, no, there's a malfunction and he's closing. So he needs to make it in order to go to in demand. This is not the 30-day party.
Oh, no. Oh, well, yeah, if anyone likes to look at Butch Cleaver, it's now or never, really.
The Cathedrals of Bones. Look at that.
Yeah. That was good, talking to him about all the bone stuff. That was rad.
Yeah, he's an awesome dude. Awesome creator.
He's a good guy. Yeah, so there you go. Butch Cleaver. Good stuff. What else are people saying in the chat? Oh, yeah, look at that. Nova Blast. This is, man, I'm going to have to do a video on this because this just keeps happening. Actually, you probably have to create a campaign to be able to even get into that section. I don't know how I'm going to do that. But yeah, people, that extending function in Indiegogo, it's busted because that's what happened to Camel Moon. Thankfully, he got it fixed.
Should I? Because my campaign, I think, is going to end in, I want to say 7 days.
Yeah.
So should I try?
So let me tell you how it's going to work. Okay.
Okay.
Hang on. Why am I not sharing your screen? One sec. It's because I had it on Chrome tab. I'm silly. Plot hole. Let's goodbye. There it is. Sorry, I was just reading a thing about plot holes. Yeah. So in the back end, in where it says extend, you'll find it somewhere. I think it's in It's in something.
It's on the first tab. Yeah.
There you go. Right. You'll open it up and I think it actually comes up and says 30. Right. And it says, how long do you want to extend for? And then it pops up and it says 30. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. And a lot of people will click at 30 thinking, okay, I'm going to extend it for 30 days. Not realizing that what it actually means is, how long do you want the campaign to go for? So if you hit 30 and then hit save, it's not going to extend it because you've already done 30. You've actually got to go in that little thing and scroll down
to 60.
and go to 60 and then hit it like that. This is affecting way too many people now.
They need
extending to, not extending for.
exactly.
they need to rewrite those options.
Yes, it wouldn't be a difficult thing for them to do, but I don't know, maybe
Even if they don't have to reprogram a ton, it's just the grammar on the label is bad.
exactly. All right, yeah. So cool. All right, we actually. How did that happen? It's already been an hour.
I forgot to ask questions because I got distracted. So.
So last goodbye. It's got a full week left. Now, is this the first 30 days or is this the end of the campaign? You were just saying it's the first 30 days.
Yeah, we're in the first 30. So
excellent. All right. So looks like you guys are practically guaranteed to get funded here. That's awesome.
Yeah, I wish that I would have took more time building the email list because
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Richard. I did not mean to laugh.
No worries.
Interrupt you. I'll just say, Mike, you cannot show Sheila's tweet.
Is it the naked one?
Well, you can't say that now.
Oh, okay.
Well, okay. I'll have you look at it, and then you decide if you want to.
How about you put the link in the private chat?
Yeah.
Are you a wrench? Because you put it in the.
No, I'm not a wrench.
What? Okay.
I'll tell you what. I'll put it in the private chat, and then you tell me what you want to do from there.
Okay.
I'm pasting it in right now.
Go ahead, Richard.
Again, Richard, I apologize.
Oh,
sorry.
no worries.
It just totally caught me off guard what I saw.
You wish you had taken the time to something.
I'm gonna have to bleach my eyeballs.
I wish I would have. No, I wish I would have got more people on the email list because I only had like 30. So I'm like, oh, that's a good start point, And then I launched the campaign and I see other people collecting like 200, 500, 1,000. I'm like, oh, whoa, I should have really thought this over. So, yeah. So,
that email list is important. All right, I'm going to share this in the chat for everyone. But be warned, not safe for work, okay?
To your point, Richard, that is a mistake that a lot of people have made. And it's difficult if you're not well versed in these campaigns over a pretty significant time interval. But I think that I know that I personally have been retweeting your stuff ever since I first saw it.
Cool, thank you.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. And what I was going to say is that even if you don't have a big mail list, there have been examples of people where their campaign just happened to catch at the right time, and enough people saw it due to retweets and it being shown on streams without the project owner knowing about it and that sort of a thing. So I think you're in good shape.
Yeah. I mean, it's guaranteed to come out, even if I have to dig in my own pocket and make it happen. So
it's not going to come to that. It's not going to come to that. You can tell from the trajectory. If you've got another 37 days left on this, you're definitely getting funded. So it's all just about getting yourself out there, whether or not, whatever happened with the mailing list, moving forward now, you're getting yourself out there. I see you around. You've got your YouTube show.
Yeah.
I think it's it's called, what is your YouTube channel called again?
Oh, it's at Forest Publishing LLC.
Forest Publishing, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, it's a good show. I've been on it. Yeah. You guys have fun over there.
Yeah, Nova Blast and J Money, and we have Dutton on a lot, and we kind of just have an open door. Whoever wants to come in and talk comics, and we just hope that Ethan isn't streaming so we can actually get some viewers.
Everyone's in the same boat. Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Mammoth streams lately too. It's like sort of 1,800 minimum, and he had 2,500 earlier. But it's good. It's all competition. It's all making us work harder. Nova Blast says you guys are going to do a 12-hour stream to end off the campaign. That sounds good.
That was fun. We ended up going like 13 hours.
Oh man!
So we had we got struck in the middle of it, and like 9.5 hours in, and then we did another one and finished it out. So it was it's a pretty interesting night. It's when everything was getting struck, but I found out I think it was because I didn't put it on adults only, or this is not for children.
Oh
And
yeah,
so there was some cuss words and
age
some this
restricted
and that.
video.
Yeah, and then after that I haven't had no problems. So
That's good.
yeah.
I'm going to find the link to Richard's channel. Up in
Yeah,
the
we
chat.
had Graham Nolan on there a couple weeks ago.
Cool.
He's an awesome dude, and
There she is.
I actually had my my buddy who's a Mexican wrestler.
Really?
You
Yeah.
growing up, you told us how you thought of wanting to do a comic, but growing up, were you really into anything? Like, I had a few Spider-Mans, and then I was aware of culturally of Superman, the Trinity, Batman.
Well,
What about you?
Like, okay, so growing up, it was of course the Superman Donner film.
Uh-huh.
Like I remember watching Superman 3 with Richard Pryor on beta for like
Yeah.
over and over and over on beta, and then I got into like I really liked Punisher and Venom, and then Spawn came, and then I started doing more of the hip hop, and that became like the lifestyle, just like the whole four elements of hip hop from rap or MCing to DJing to graph to b-boying, like just being around that scene. And then I just kind of got not I don't want to say I lost the passion for it. So that's pretty much it. I just remember having fun as a kid reading comic books, and then I went back and I bought a Punisher. I was like, wow, Punisher is like this looks way cooler. It was the Garth Ennis run on Marvel Max, and I was like, whoa, there's all this cool stuff. And then that led me to like Preacher, to Why the Last Man, to other stuff that was out. A lot of Vertigo stuff I loved reading. So
Nice. All right, man. I do have to close it out. Thanks so much for coming on and having a chat with us and telling us
Cool.
about your book.
all right, thank you, Michael. And when we do that 12-hour stream, I hope that you can make it, and all you guys are invited as well to come and just chop it up with us.
Hopefully, I'll be able to come in for a little bit. 12 hours is.
No, even if
I
you make
voted-
like a 20-minute appearance, I would feel honored.
Oh, I appreciate the invite. That's generous of you. Thank you.
Yeah, we got to add you guys to. We have like a message like group chat that we just drop the link, and whoever's available just hops on. So I'll make sure I get
Awesome.
you guys on it.
Well, Blue, Joe, thanks so much for being here as well. Joe, it was good to share a drink with you. And Blue, thank you for my popping my cherry on the popping my super chat cherry.
I hope Mel isn't mad and won't beat me again tonight.
I'm sure it'll be all good. And as always, Hal to the chat, the sexiest chat in Comicsgate. You've been awesome. So we got a pretty big guest tomorrow. So I'll let you know about that when it's all 100% confirmed. But yeah, we'll see you then, and we'll have a good time. All right, guys. See you later. Bye.
Take care.